The Transport Department says it's concerned about the high road death toll. Minister Ben Martin says it's tragic that it is still climbing.
The carnage has continued despite government's attempts to raise awareness. The department has now issued a stern warning to repeat offenders. More than 1,100 people have already died since the beginning of December.
Martin says there's an urgent need for national dialogue. Deputy Minister Cindy Chikunga echoed his sentiments, saying the deaths are avoidable.
We're calling upon drivers to heed our call, to understand that it is them, it is us, it is South Africans who are dying on the roads, and we can actually prevent this. These are unnecessary deaths, and they shouldn't have happened. They can actually be prevented. As long as we do not drink, we do not speed, we deal with our fatigue as drivers, as long as we take into consideration that on our roads there are people walking, that pedestrians, and our pedestrians are seen and they can see, and our pedestrians do not drink and walk on our roads. These just measures, they can actually save our lives.
Let's now talk about that high number of road deaths and what needs to be done. Howard Dembovsky is the national chairman of the Justice Project in South Africa. He joins me from our studios in Johannesburg. Howard, I'd love to say compliments of the season, but it's been a horrible few days.
That it most certainly has. I think the tragically high road deaths in this country bear testament to the fact that people have lost their moral compass. In fact, I think they've buried it. And unfortunately, they are behaving like naughty children with the deadly consequence.
Why aren't motorists getting the message? Because the Road Traffic Department has been campaigning for weeks now.
Well, it's all very well that you've been campaigning for weeks, but let's be quite honest about this. Road safety is not something that you can hope to get across to people in a period of a couple of weeks. If we look back to the 20th of December, that's when this latest road safety initiative was launched by the RTMC, and it's called Get There, No Regret. Now, that's halfway through the festive season. Unfortunately, your behaviors of everybody, it doesn't matter what type of behavior you're looking at, is something that is built up over a period of time. And if people are allowed to get away with the nonsense that they are getting away with, this kind of thing is an expected result rather than an unexpected one. You know, at the end of the day, if you take a situation of a shopping center, let's take this completely off the roads. You walk into a shopping center and there's a child there screaming and shouting and throwing a temper tantrum in that shopping center. This is a common sight these days where there is ill discipline. And unfortunately, that has extended to our roads. People have come to believe that because there is an absence of law enforcement, they may do what they like on our roads and there will be no consequence. The problem is that the consequence is people are dying in their droves.
How do we solve this problem? How do authorities turn it around?
We need to be looking at consistent and very, very stringent law enforcement throughout the country on a 24/7 basis, 365 days a year. It's no good stepping up law enforcement in the month of December and hoping that that's going to have an effect. But when I say stepping up law enforcement in the month of December, I have in front of me the statistics that have been released by the RTMC yesterday with respect to the crashes up till Christmas Day. And there we're talking about 1,068 fatalities out of 890 crashes. But what is really alarming is that we look at the amount of arrests that took place from the 1st to the 25th of December for reckless or negligent driving, and that number's 32 out of 17,000 traffic officers on our roads. That is just a poor testimony to the type of work that is being done. Similarly, I'd like to point out that of the people that were stopped in roadblocks and checked for alcohol, 5% of them were found to be over the legal alcohol limit. And that's coming up to roadblocks that you have to travel for several hundred meters or maybe even a kilometer or more to reach. Now, imagine if we were actually out there doing our jobs properly and breathalyzing everybody that got pulled over for any reason, whether it be a traffic offense or not, and breathalyzing these people on the spot, I guarantee you that that 5% would be closer to 15%.
Howard, what I'm hearing is that police are not being strict enough.
Well, they're not doing their jobs. It's as simple as that. I don't think it comes down to being strict or anything like that. When we talk about zero tolerance, which is a favorite coined term in this country and it has been for a long time, we're talking about zero tolerance towards road traffic offences. But at the end of the day, if you're not deploying your people properly and you're not out there actually physically enforcing traffic laws, this kind of behavior is going to continue. And quite frankly, we need to rethink the entire way in which traffic law enforcement is practiced in this country. We need to look at the cost versus benefit of holding roadblocks. Let's be very honest, we've got an enormous amount of roadblocks at this time of the year, but we still have these terribly high road traffic fatalities on our roads. That's got to be telling us that it's time for a fresh approach. We need to be inculcating in people's attitudes that it is not okay to drive like a maniac on our roads. But unfortunately, there will always be a percentage of people who feel, well, if I'm not being taken to task for what I'm doing, I'm going to continue to do it. And let's see how far I can push that envelope.
Howard, thank you for your time this afternoon. Howard Dembovsky, he is the National Chairman of the Justice Project South Africa.